Welcome to your source for research, innovation, news, insights, and commentary. This is Research Business Daily Report, where we are sponsored by Precision Opinion. For phone, focus, and online, the most trusted name in market research. Well, we're undoubtedly in the dog days of summer. Everyone is taking time off, it seems, except for me, because I have to continue playing market researcher on YouTube every day. But I did my research news collection as I always do for today's RBDR, and lo and behold, I was also reminded that we're also in what some people refer to as the silly season. Believe me, there isn't a lot of research news of note, but we take our responsibilities to you extremely seriously. So I did find one story that I thought would be interesting. It's a tongue-in-cheek critique of what some researchers will do if they want to tilt their results. The author of this byline piece, Richard Marks, described it as, quote, "my top 10 tips for sexing up press releases about research." If you are a research professional, you may view it as a witty critique, or more harshly, as someone talking out of school. For those of you who are not professionally trained, and that includes me, it may be somewhat educational to see what researchers will do when no one is watching. Take tip number 1 from Marks, who's the director of the website Research the Media in the UK. Remember, these are 10 tips to sexy up your research press release. Marks begins by saying, drop the words ever and regularly from the surveys that use those adverbs. It'll just make explaining your results easier. Does it change the meaning of those results? Well, sure, but just forget about it, he says. Further down the list, he recommends that you drop percentages because often they are not a researcher's friend. Instead, use gross numbers and take them out of context. Then there's the concept of referring to a survey as a census, because that's going to add some wonderful gravitas to your work. When you need a break today, seriously look up 10 top tips for sexing up your research press release. We're also linking to the story in the content box directly beneath today's video. Next, I've heard numerous times from a lot of research pros this year about the acceptability of do-it-yourself research, and it really is an indication of the sharp turn that the research industry has taken, because DIY used to be totally demeaned by almost everybody. Steve Menino, who runs SCM Market Research, asked us for time to voice a few understated arguments concerning DIY.
Thanks, Bob. Why use a research vendor when there's SurveyMonkey or Zoomerang or any of the myriad survey authoring tools now widely available? It may not be asked that directly, but it's a question that researchers on both the supplier and client sides are increasingly getting. As you know, it's fundamentally a question of research value. A good answer, it seems to me, should touch on at least 2 areas, but they aren't always top of mind: cost and the limitations of the tool. By the way, my intent is not to bash do-it-yourself tools. We all know the music is in the violinist, not the violin, but we do need to be clear about the true cost of do-it-yourself tools and the limitations they may place on our research efforts. Let's start with cost. Why pay a research vendor when you can do it yourself, right? Well, with the do-it-yourself tool, you can bring data collection in-house, but the real question is, do you save money by doing that, or are the costs just less visible? Consider the cost of skilled researchers now focusing on the nitty-gritty of data collection instead of actionable research design, analyses, and insights. Data collection is a commodity. It's something a research vendor can do better, faster, and cheaper. And it also allows researchers to focus on the higher value areas for which they are being paid. In terms of limitations, the psychologist B.F. Skinner said, when all you have is a hammer, everything else starts to look like a nail. With do-it-yourself tools, one size truly does not fit all. The problem arises when the availability of a do-it-yourself tool reduces the ranges of methodological options considered. If we allow the limitations of a tool to reduce our research design options, instead of selecting the most appropriate method for the objectives and needs of the research, we risk diminishing the research function and its ability to generate actionable, meaningful insights. I'm Steve Menino, and my 2 minutes are off.
Thanks for your input, Steve. And don't forget, we're releasing our 20-minute interview with Harte Hanks CEO Robert Philpott today. You'll hear his feelings about choosing between data-based research as opposed to survey-based research, about acquisition possibilities for Harte Hanks, about big data, and much more. That's your Research Business Daily Report, sponsored by Precision Opinion. For phone, focus, and online, the most trusted name in market research. There is a link in the content box underneath the video to the Precision Opinion website, where you can find out why this dynamic, fast-growing company is actually in that situation. It's a very compelling story. Have a great research day and rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you all back here on Monday.